What it is, what it ends do not apply. We're back again at the Kasi Talks, and today we are tackling the issue of youth activism in South Africa. So basically, we'll be looking at the minds of the activists of today, how active they are, and are they having an impact. So we're joined by an activist for I would say longest of time since I've known you, Tumelo Mokoena. Sir, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So maybe if we can start with you covering what do you think of youth activism in general in today's dispensation, democratic dispensation.
Okay. Yeah, I believe that young people of this country currently, they are moving towards the right direction of activism. Why am I saying that? We have a generation whereby it has been secluded from participating in politics of this country.
Okay.
Fully.
Right.
We are a generation that has been led by old people, if I have to put it like that. Why am I saying what I'm saying? We've got people who've been leading the revolution ever since during apartheid, moving forward, post-apartheid, they got into governance, and they're still leading us until this very day.
Right.
So young people have been secluded from that space of partaking fully in politics. They're trying to impose themselves into the space that is
the young people.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is rightfully theirs. Just like the late Bantu Piko said, that was sitting on the sidelines watching a game that was supposed to be playing.
Okay.
And now, this is what is currently happening.
So are we sitting as young people on the sidelines?
We're sitting on the sidelines watching a game that was supposed to be playing. And that is why now we feel that it's high time that we need to impose ourselves into this game that we can play perfectly well. You see. Global politics are becoming younger by the day. Things are changing rapidly. But in South Africa, our politics are stagnant. Are not becoming younger by the day.
But now, here's the thing. There is a struggle that you are identifying now, where you say it's exclusion. Young people are being excluded from politics. It's a struggle, number one. We also have other struggles, such as teenage pregnancy, youth unemployment. So where are young people to address these issues? Are young people in South Africa addressing these issues?
They're there. Young people are there. Young people are participating. Young people are fighting for their rightful space to say, look, this is us. Let us deal with our issues. You cannot deal with our issues for us. We must deal with our issues our way because we understand our issues. You see, for example, you can't have a president that is 68 or 70 that you think might speak to issues of a 17-year-old or a 20-year-old. There is a major gap difference, ideological difference, and so forth. That's why in Kenya you have the youngest member of parliament. In Angola you have the youngest member of parliament. You know, from the ages of 19, 21, they are there already dealing with these issues. You see. In France, you just had a younger president just recently. So now, in Burkina Faso, by the way, Thomas Sankara was only 34 when he was a president of Burkina Faso. Unfortunately, 3 years later, he got assassinated. May his soul rest in peace. But this is a young man that came in and changed the face of the country. So now, if you put young people at the helm of leadership at the right time, then you will see things changing. So now you spoke about gender-based violence and other things.
Yeah.
Young people are fighting that struggle. The problem is that we've got elderly leaders who are gatekeepers of this.
Okay.
Who is a minister of women affairs? And how old is that minister? You see now. So you look into those things. You see. Now you have minister of higher education and lower education. How old are they? Are they relevant to you and I? They are not.
So, but now
You see. So just to expand a bit, I'll just make an example. Let's go back to fees must fall. in 2013.
Please, it's more relevant.
Fees must fall in 2013. Young people were fighting that the increase of tertiary tuition, right? That's 2013. These young people were fighting. They were saying no, there must be free education.
Was it 2016?
I think it was 2016.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely,
you, 2016.
absolutely.
So now you understand that in 2016 these people were fighting that, right? And 4 years later, you're supposed to be having something that is different now.
Right.
You should be having a country that says, okay, this is how we've moved.
Yes.
But here comes a Minister of Education telling you that no, we must have 4.7 increase of tuition.
So basically, you're saying young people are being active from the ground level, but their efforts are being blocked by an older generation, as you will say. So, but now, what is the idea that drives young people now? Because back then we would know we had others that were driven by black consciousness, we have others who were driven by Pan-Africanism, and others that were driven by African nationalism. What drives young people now? Do we have a common idea that we rally on?
We still have young people who are still custodians of black consciousness and so forth.
Right.
The thing is that how politics have changed. Politics dictate that we need to limit our way of thinking and our way of expression. And that is the biggest problem. You see, how the system has designed itself, more especially, I wouldn't say in South Africa alone, but globally, black people have been, we've been reduced to almost nothing. Because now when you speak of black consciousness, we can take it as far back as Activism of Nation of Islam, the one that we spoke about, Black Panther, and others. You can name them, there are many. So there's always been this black consciousness type of setup, you know? And young people are very, very knowledgeable of these things, and they're participating and they're trying to exhibit that black consciousness. But how society perceives black consciousness, it perceives it as an evilish thing. You know, if you're pro-black conscious, they say you are racist. But now, tackling this issue of racism is in two folds. It's positive or negative.
Okay.
So now, if you're proud of being black, it's a positive side of, if you want to call it racism, it's fine. It's a positive side of it. I'm embracing my blackness, my black afro, my dark skin, my big nose, my thick lips, whatever it is. It's a positive side of it. But if I embrace my blackness, but yet making others feel inferior and belittling them, then that's an element of a negative connotation of racism. Like white supremacists, for instance, you see, they define themselves as the superior class, whereby black people are subjected to almost nothing. That's negative racism. That racism is toxic to society. But if a white person can say, I'm proudly white.
So you said earlier on that the population of the world is getting younger and younger. And also now you're saying the society perceives black consciousness as negative. Right? So I'm thinking when you're talking about society, you're talking about a large number of young people in that society, right?
Not quite. Not quite. Young black men and women are finding themselves again. They are redefining their struggle.
Right.
That was systematically, let's just say, they try to blindfold this positive aspect of black consciousness and black pride. And this generation of young people, they're standing up. That's why you're having campaigns like Black Lives Matter. Yes, we know that all lives matter. But whom are the most victimized? It's black people, mainly youth. You see, black women get murdered. They get raped, mutilated, and all those things. And the biggest countries in the world, they're silent about it, you know. Young men are being killed brutally killed by police officers. We've seen this thing in America. It's not only happening in America, in Canada.
And it's also happening in South Africa.
It's also happening
so
in South
I would like
Africa.
to see young people standing up against
They
that.
are.
We've seen the EFF guys.
Many,
Okay.
many, PAC, EFF. It's not a new phenomenon. It has always been happening. The problem is that whenever young black people try to showcase their muscle and strength, for some weird reason, that activism is downplayed.
By a black-led government.
It matters not.
Okay.
It matters not.
Yeah.
Because a system is broad. Speaking of black,
yeah.
you see, it's interesting because now, here is one thing that always perplexes me. You are looking at black people who fought apartheid, right? A system of 1948 moving forward. Then you had the opportunity to sit and negotiate. And you're given the opportunity now to vote and be in a democratic country. Excuse me. Now, people vote in 94. We win with overwhelming majority. And we come up with this thing which is called national unity.
Nice.
And I ask myself, what did this national unity seek to achieve? Because if we're speaking of national unity, a government of white and black and cohesion working together, I think that's where this issue of land expropriation should have taken place. Right. This is where we should have said, look, Oppenheimer's in 1917, you owned a mine in Kimberley. Hey, how about reimbursing us?
Yeah. So I'm getting you there.
Yeah. So now, instead, we have a huge number of black people are still impoverished. A huge number of young black people are unemployed, unskilled. You see? So
now here's the
what
thing.
I'm saying to me,
Here's the thing that I've noticed, that there might be a misconception that in order for you to be an activist, you must be within a political party. Right? I've seen that with most young people. Why join a political party? No, mengfuna ukuthi iswiriti yala ekasi stop. Why join a political party? No, I wanted young people here to be employed. But you could have done that with an NGO. Or you could have done that by mobilizing 10 people and going somewhere in parliament. So now that's my question to you now. It's, do you think that young people understand activism in that they see that they must be within a political party?
Good question. It's a notion that has been brought forth that if you're an activist, you must be in a certain political party, which it's not necessarily the case.
Right.
Being in a political party, it means that you believe in each and every ideological stance that the party represents.
Right.
And you want to form part of it because you believe in their teachings, in their beliefs, and so forth.
Interesting.
You can be an activist while you're in church.
Absolutely.
Martin Luther King did it.
Yeah.
Malcolm X did it.
Yeah.
You know? When you're a member of a political party, you form part of an organization. You see, you're organized. It's a small cocoon where you need to subscribe to this and this and this and that. Certain norms. You can't go against. So now, it's unfortunately it is a wrong notion that people have learned to believe that if you fall into a political party, or if you're a member of a certain political party, then this is how you're going to push your activism. You see, but it shouldn't necessarily be the case.
Yeah.
You see.
So let's talk